don't know if I can see it. Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever time you want to watch this video. But we're coming today with UNC, that's unifying the nomadic community. And that's for us brothers, sisters, chime in, listen, take some insight back. I'm Jay Dunlap. I am I have a lot of titles that I'm not even going to get into because one thing I want us to realize is titles are just that, just titles. I am your brother. I am your friend. I am your person you can come to speak freely. We want to thank everyone that has been watching and giving feedback, a lot of positive feedback. We truly want to thank y'all so much for the ones that we spoke back with, for the ones we got questions from, everything pertaining to this platform. We just truly appreciate it. This is an area for myself where it's somewhere that I feel is a gift from God for me because I've always spoke, but I've always spoke from the shadows, and I've always led from the shadows. And it's not hard to do. I've always wanted to inspire others to push past their self to be that person, and I never wanted to stand in their light. So this is the platform that you are experiencing with us. This is me coming out of my shyness, and some people might laugh when I say that because I know I may not seem that type of person, but I am. I really do. I'm very preserved. I'm very quiet. I speak, but when I speak, I like for it to make a difference. I'm not just somebody just running off. But we're going to get all into the topics of the day, and I'm going to pass it to my brother for his introduction, and we'll get on this start.
Grand Rising, good afternoon. As my brother said, whatever time of day that you're watching this video, we coming today with big energy. I am so excited to give you the information that we have today to help you on your journey to become a greater black man. Whether it be a father, a brother, a husband, we're gonna give you the tools to help you be the best version that you could be. My name is Grayson. I'm your neighborhood SAYS, that's self awareness implementation specialist. I help people become self aware of who they are and whose they are by teaching them different biblical principles and universal disciplines to help them get a desired result in life. Not just any result, but a desired result in life. I'm excited to be on this platform with my brother. We got some real stuff that we're going to deal with today. A lot of things that we talk about is actually a lot of experiences that we went through ourselves. So a lot of times you can't properly minister to someone when you have not actually been in those shoes yourself. So you all get ready for today, what we're going to share with you. And this, I want you to understand that the information that we're sharing with you is really nothing if you're not doing anything with it. There has to be some type of action or implementation of the tools and resources that we give you to help you. Because if you're just taking in the information and not doing anything with it, it's really obsolete. But we're going to do our part. We're going to give you the information and we're going to give you the best information that we got. And it's up to you to do your part to make an adjustment or to make some type of action to implement these tools and resources that we're giving you. And with that being said, we actually got two questions that was asked of us in our inbox this week, and we want to address those first before we get deep into the matter of what we're going to talk about today. Um, I'm gonna read both of them, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna answer them. So the first one was a young man said, "I work a deadbeat job, and I would love to change my career, but I'm a felon. What can I do?" I don't know about some of y'all, but I've been in that situation myself. I'm a two-time convicted felon. I ain't been saved all my life, and I haven't made all the right decisions. But I'm gonna jump back to that. Then the second one is, How do I properly forgive so I won't get stuck in my emotions, especially anger and bitterment? Bro, that's something to think about. How do we properly
That
forgive
is,
so we don't get stuck in our emotions of anger and resentment? Because so many times we can just hold on to stuff and it causes so much pain with anger and stuff. But we're gonna jump back to the first one. The young man said that he worked a deadbeat job. He would love to change his career, but he got felonies. What can I do? Listen, the way that the world is today, it used to be hard for us to get the tools and resources, but now today, with the internet at our fingertips, it's just a click of a few buttons to find that. There are some national, what we call reentry programs, which is for ex-cons that's re-entering to society that need assistance, because when you're dealing with felonies, you can always be an ex-con. But to be honest, you really can't be an ex felon because it always follow you. Even when you get it expunged or pardoned, a lot of times it still shows up on government records. Even though they can't count it against you, you can still see it. So there's different programs that they have to help you get a fresh start. There's a lot of jobs, corporations that actually work with these programs that will give you a second chance. A lot of times society does not give us a second chance, but they will give you a second chance to get your life together. And some of those organizations are, we call it FORC, which is Friends of Returning Citizens, which is a fresh start. Then they got prison entrepreneurship programs, and these are national. But all you have to do, you can also find these locally in your local neighborhood, in your county or community. Um, I believe they still have the Urban League. Do you also have the Urban League there in Greenville?
yes,
Okay, so we have the
yes,
Urban League. Okay, and different facilities that will help assist you with finding a job, even though society has struck you out, um, or labeled you in a certain type of way because you are a felon. So there are a lot of programs out there that can assist you with that, nationally and locally. It's just all that you have to do is just do the research. It's not they're not going to drop it in the palm of your hands. We got to do the work. We always talking about we can't find this, we can't do that, cause my record, this and that. There's places and people out there to assist us, but you got to do the work. You got to do the work. So, bro, what are some of the things that you have on your end, as far as if they got felons? What can they do?
okay. Definitely, I want people to realize that you can do anything. You can do anything you want to do. I'm truly a testimony of that. From like I said, I spoke on another episode, from drugs to alcohol to anger to street life, you name it. I can never say that my background held me back from progressing in life. Because when I step in front of you, I'm gonna speak from the soul and I'm gonna give you the original of what God created me to be. No matter what baggage I may come with, I'm gonna give you that truthful side of who I am. And 90% of times in my life, it has shined through. So keep that keep that as a note and a nugget for when you walk into places and you apply for jobs. Just understand you can't go in there as the drug dealer. You can't go in there as the ex addict.
Right.
You got to go in there giving them the love of God that He sent you to that door. He allows you to walk through it, and you're gonna sit down and represent God. Even in the application, even in the interview, let it start from within. But I myself was able to get a pardon for some of my past charges. And if you need help, um, we have different. I have Dunlap R72 at Gmail. Send me an email. Um, Once we get communicating, I can show you and give you the steps, like my brother said. But you have to take the first step. We can't do it for you. Reaching out to me, we'll take you through the process. We'll tell you what you need. And from that point, you take the step and you walk forward. I can walk with you, helping you all the way. Every step you get, you call me, contact me, we go from there. We start back over if you need because you're gonna need references. And that means that your
Right.
character has to represent what you're trying to do. So your
Right.
references have to be someone that's seen a difference in you. And really, from the man I used to be, a lot of people say to me when they see me, they're like, man, there's something about you that's different. And I just decided to be a representative of God instead of my flesh. My flesh was representing me my entire life. And it hurts at times to realize all the different avenues that you try to take to get back to the original peace that we was born with. And these are all the different things that we deal with as men because we're steady trying to get to a
Right.
peaceful place in our lives. And if we work at learning that God created us in peace, so it's in us, that's our birthright. Like you're born into a family and you say that's my birthright. You're born from God, so that's your birthright. Own it. Take representation in it. And like I said, reach out to me, man. I'm here. My door is always open. Like I said, I do this every day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. We have no days off. I cook for people, love on people, and I just want us to get to a better place. And pardons, expungements, all these things I can help you with. I'm gonna pass it back over to my brother so we can get on because we got a lot of good stuff, like he said, and we're gonna,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
give you the
Thank
business.
you. Listen, we stand on business today, because it's time out for pity pat and patty cake. We got to get to the real issues of what we're dealing with as black men. So often we avoid it. We want to avoid confronting things. Um, and it's like when you try to, just because you're not actually dealing with it doesn't mean that it's not there. It doesn't mean that it's not there. I'm gonna jump into the second one, because we have a lot to cover and we're gonna get deeper in depth as we go. The second was, and this actually hit home to me. How do I properly forgive so I don't get stuck in my emotions?
Whew.
How do I properly forgive so I don't get stuck in my emotions? I'm just gonna have a transparent moment with you all today because this is a safe place and space where we can be vulnerable and not only vent, but let you know that we are all human, that we go through the same things as you do. I had a situation with my own child, and so many times we can have compassion for a stranger, but we be so hard on our own family. And that thing turned around and bit me in the ends this week. Um, because I was in my emotions. And even me as being the SAYS, the self-awareness implementation specialist, I didn't even recognize the emotional state that I was in. And I allowed my emotions to rule at a moment's time, and it caused even more trauma than what was already present. When you know better, you do better. But so many times we can be sitting on the other side of being contemplating that we don't actually see the mirror in ourselves. We don't see the mirror in ourselves, and it's like, how did I do that? But one thing that I do understand is that hurting people hurt people, and that's just been proven. Hurting people can always hurt people. It made me aware of some areas within myself that I'm not actually healed in. I thought I was healed, but what I've been in isolation. I was in isolation. I didn't have to deal with it because I don't want to be around. I don't be around people like that or my family like that. So until that thing comes up, you don't know what's in you because what's in you that doesn't get worked up because it takes a situation or circumstance to work that up out of you. Until it can be worked up, it can't be worked out. So it takes situations and circumstances to come into our lives to cause us to hurt in a space and place that we thought that we was healed in. And once we see that thing rise up, okay, let me get this. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. Let me get healed from this. Let me get healed from this. But forgiveness is one of the greatest words that we have, y'all. It's through forgiveness that we was forgiven for our sins. Only through
Right.
forgiveness. Forgiveness is like giving up hope that the past could ever be any different, y'all. Giving up hope that no that what I did or woulda, coulda, shoulda did could have been any different. And that's like forgiveness of ourselves. One of the true definitions that forgiveness actually involves, y'all. I want y'all to listen to y'all that taking note. Take note of this. Take mental note. Write it down. Take a picture. However you need to do this to keep this in your heart. Forgiveness involves an intentional decision to let go of resentment and anger. No matter how bad that thing hurt you or how it affected you, it takes an intentional decision to let go of that resentment and anger. And we understand that anger is one of the emotions that black men do not mind showing. We ain't gonna show you a lot of love, but we can show you how mad we are. We can show you how angry we are, or how resentful we are to something. We don't mind showing that, but we got to get to a space and place where we can let go of that thing that's haunting us and taunting us, that's keeping us from living a forgiveness life because we hold on to stuff so tight. We hold on to so much, and it don't do nothing but cause more damage, not only to us, but to the people that are connected to us also. It causes more damage. So, with that being said, I'm going to push my plate on to the left to my brother. Help us out, brother, about how do we deal with anger as black men? Because we are so angry about so many different things that half the time we don't even know why we angry. We just feeling it. We don't even know why. But it's just an emotion that we don't mind showing. We don't know how to handle that emotion or deal with that emotion of anger. How do we do that, bro? This help us out today. Help us out.
That's so true. Um, I'm looking at the. I'm sorry, but I'm looking at the thing, and I don't know if it froze on your end or mine.
Uh-uh.
But okay.
You
Um,
good.
a few ways for us to deal with our anger, and I want to say thank you, brother. Thank you for being vulnerable today. Thank you for giving some of that personal insight on being human and being vulnerable as a man, because that's what we have to start showing. We really have to start showing that
Yes.
side of us that's vulnerable, that's open, that's approachable, that goes through some of the things that everybody goes through. We really try to act as if we're so different from one another, and we're not. We stand away as if we're the powerhouse, and we make mistakes. And when you've been through traumas in your life where um, you took alcohol, drugs, street life, and all these things to substitute the hurt and pain that you've been going through for years, you end up hurting people. And you end up taking people on that ride with you. And you must realize that these people don't necessarily deserve it. So
Right.
being compassionate to their feelings, being compassionate to their anger, their frustration, their mood is something that we have to be aware of when we're healing and when we're wanting to give that compassion and show some healing of our own pain. Because like you said, hurt people hurt people. You call me the
Yes.
mirror. And that's I like that title because I want to represent something that I experienced in my own life. I experienced it with
Right.
my son. I had to go back, and even though he may be doing his own thing, I still had to let him know, listen, I wasn't perfect. There's no handbook for being parents. There's no
Right.
all answered handbook to direct you on being the best parent in the world. It's impossible because things happen. You're going to go through things and you have to react at the moment notice when it comes down to kids. But dealing with anger as men, we come with rage. Rage is that
Mm.
intense, I mean, to the point where you're throwing things, you punching holes in walls. That's something that takes you away from dealing with the trauma that you've been through. I think one of
Right.
my big traumas was abandonment. Being put out
Mm.
at a young age, I had to
Right.
realize that my abandonment affects my household because with certain situations, being abandoned, your anger comes out in a different way because you're afraid of them knowing that weak side or that side that was vulnerable at some point or that side that made you feel embarrassed about what you've been through. So when something comes up and your wife possibly or your mate just possibly is just trying to figure out what's going on, you push people away.
Mm.
You start discrediting yourself and you start assuming what they may be frustrated about or what they may be dealing with is directly targeting you, like it's an attack on your character. And most of the time they have no clue that you're dealing with abandonment issues. You're dealing with rage. You're dealing with withdrawals. You're dealing with mood swings. All these things come out of trauma. Abandonment was just one of mine. I was in a state of denial. Like I took the blame for majority of the things that I went through as a child, not realizing that I was a child. Parents do have
Mm.
responsibilities. They do have accountabilities. They do have to be representing something that protects you and covers you and guides you.
Right.
They can't give you. I was given a lot of freedom, and then once I acted in a way that wasn't pleasing, then I was punished. Then I was, beat. Then I was put out. Then I was attacked. All these things is because you lacked in guidance. It wasn't me. I'm a child. I'm supposed to be led. I don't supposed to be allowed to lead myself. I think that's a lot of what parents deal with sometimes is the fact that we have our own issues, but we think because you acting out, it has nothing to do with me. And sometimes you just have a child that you gotta keep more hands on. You gotta keep them up under your wing a lot more. Um,
Mm.
and then other times it's some of the things that you've been through, some of the stressors and trauma that you went through as a child. It pours out on your children. It's
Mm-hmm.
generational that we are attacked by. That a lot of times your child doesn't even. I truly feel like a lot of my mother's childhood trauma overflowed into her raising and her teaching and being a parent to me. I think she felt as if whatever she went through and not dealt with now is my issue, and never looking at the unresolved issues. Unresolved issues end up blowing up in so many different ways. We heard now is post traumatic stress disorder. You know, I think men
Right.
has that. We have that, especially if you've been in the street life. You assume that the way you handle things in the street is the way you can handle things at home. You assume because
That's
I
a
was
war within
born,
itself. That's a whole world. That's a whole
yeah,
war. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a war
Actually.
in itself. So feeling like I can handle my family like I handle these jokers on the street, that's too. You was out of pocket when you was in them streets. You was out of control when you was in them streets.
Right.
So you're
Right.
gonna
Right.
bring that uncontrollable behavior into your family, not managing leadership properly. Your family have to see, to be led. They have to see a leader, and you have to submit. Once you go through this trauma, you have to submit to God. We look at women and say you must submit to man, but how can she submit to a man when you're not willing to submit to God and relinquish that ego and pride that we walk around with? You can't expect your children to surrender to your leadership when you haven't surrendered to the leadership of God that created you. We have to get back in order. The order of leadership has been led by God, and we feel as if we own that title. You know,
Mm.
I studied as a 5%er
Mm-hmm.
coming, and I'm so blessed that it gave me an understanding of who I was as a man. You know, a lot of people discredit the fact that we call ourselves gods, but that's only because we want to represent and actually move and operate and give compassion, kindness, and understanding as a God. We all should want to represent God. We all should want to resemble the look, that glow, that light that
Mm.
people dream about. We have that inside of us. That's our core.
Right.
That's our birthright. Once again, that's our birthright. Discrediting yourself, internalizing. I've internalized a lot of the stuff that happened to me as a child. We deal with molestation because you're 10 years old and a 13-year-old girl like you, and then she start doing stuff to you or with you. You don't understand. That gives you a distorted view of sexual
Right.
intercourse, sexual relationships, romantic relationships, because you didn't understand the process. You
Right.
started doing something out of the cycles of life. You wasn't
Mm.
prepared for. So now you're an adult. Now you having issues within the bedroom with your wife or with your mate, and you don't understand why, because you never learned properly how to love and how to interact with a woman or with a mate.
Mm.
Whatever your preference, you never understood how to love and operate right. Sex and
Right.
love is separate. You
Two different
know,
things.
most men equate sex to love. We equate the fact that if you love me, you'll give it to me and you'll do this and you'll do that and you'll do it when I want it. And that's not the case. I'm hey, I'm no different. I'm a prime example as well. But that's because I've learned how to interact improperly. I've learned
Right.
how to have that sexual, romantic, loving, caring relationship in the wrong way, in a dysfunctional way. So now
Mm.
I have to step back, and I'm so blessed. I'm telling you, I've gotten so much in a place with my relationship with God that He allows me to work on myself. He shows me my imperfections in ways that only God can show you. And I'm not the preacher. I'm not in the church. I'm not in the pulpit, but I am somebody with the testimony and the experience that we need as men. Stop being so prideful. Stop having an ego. Come
Mm.
in, ask a brother that may have a little more knowledge than you what you think, bro. because I'm
Mm-hmm.
somebody that you can't ask me a question. I'm not that yes man. And everybody know I'm not that one that's gonna be on your bandwagon. I'm the one to tell you straight up and down, listen, man, you want to be a better father to your daughter, you don't want her ending up with a man like you, then you must represent a man that she's gonna want to be with that's different from what you giving her and her mother.
Yeah.
We can't represent something we think our daughter's gonna gravitate to a better man when we're not representing a better man.
Oh, bro, let me hop in there right quick. Right there, we're gonna rock steady right there where you at because that's something that we need as black men. We don't want nobody to tell us that we wrong or that we going down the wrong path. We don't want accountability. It's accountability that we lack in helping us get to this next space and place. But a lot of us don't want, especially another man, to tell us that we doing something in error or bro, we don't we don't want them to pull our coattail. But that's exactly what we need at times. Somebody to pull your coattail to let you know that you is going down the wrong way.
That's right. That's right.
Accountability. Accountability.
And you know,
Accountability.
with and sisters, you got a place too. You got a place to be on here, this platform, and understand what we're giving out. Because don't think that it's just the man's job alone. As sisters, as wives, as aunts, I pray that you're listening and understanding what we're giving out. We're giving you out a blueprint to help your brothers survive, to help
Yes.
them live longer, to help them uh, get away from high blood pressure because stress is the number one killer,
Woo.
number
Yes.
one thing for high blood pressure. If you have a brother, of your husband, be able to be compassionate. I'm telling you, we have really gotten to a place in this world where we're not compassionate towards one another, women and men. Our women are just as tough as we are, and it's really getting to a place of we don't need each other. And I
Mm.
always say to my wife, I love the old TV shows. I love Good Times. I love shows that show the strength of a woman, but they also show the respect of a woman. She allowed
Right.
herself to be respected in a way because she wasn't going to allow James to take her out of her character.
Right.
You know,
Right.
she was going to remain that godly princess and that godly queen to him that represented something that was so much powerful that even in her silence, he checked himself. Even when she got quiet, he knew he messed up and he wanted to fix it. That's something that women should take note of because when fighting with him is only doing what he's used to doing. We built to fight. Men are we were created to fight and
Right.
battle. So covering
Yes.
your man and being that protector over him will give him some comfort
Right.
to say, I don't have to be this angry. I have to correct this because my wife doesn't even say nothing to me. My wife doesn't even
Mm.
attack me. But if you're attacking him, two wrongs don't make a right. And everybody heard the saying, two wrongs never make a right. But
Right.
somebody has to be the bigger picture in that relationship. And sometimes it's the
Mm.
man. These days, it's neither. We end up fighting and not knowing how to ask for help. So as
Right.
men, we're taught to hold it in, keep it in. Don't let it
Right.
out. And we don't know how to ask and say, babe, I'm suffering today. Babe, I'm hurting today. Babe, my mind, I'm a cancer. Cancers, they say by the stars that we have mood swings. I'm literally an example of somebody that has worked on it. You don't have to be what the statistics tell us. We don't have
Right.
to be the world claims we supposed to behave like. Do we understand that's programming? Every
Right.
time they say a man's supposed to operate this or he's this way because of the stars or his birth sign, all of that is programming in our mind and giving us excuses to behave in dysfunctional manners. When I say mood swings, I'm all over the
Right.
place. Oh, I'm a Cancer, so I get a pass. No, you don't. Because if you know that this is something that you may suffer from, work on it. You know when you're
Right.
going left.
Right. Right.
All these different things that we deal with, we have to
Yeah.
address. What do you think, brother?
Mm. Listen, nothing, do you hear me? Nothing gets better by doing nothing. It's going to take intentionality. Sometimes we be trying to get better by avoiding or not confronting what it is, just thinking that it's going to get better. But nah, it ain't going to get better. Sometimes we got to change our mindsets and our behaviors and learn a new mindset and a new behavior or either how to do something. I've learned that it's two things how God operates. We can change things either through principles or powers. Principles are a set of rules or whatever that we learn how to maneuver um, and help us. And then there's powers. And I didn't say powers. Yeah, because Ephesians 3:20 say that now unto him who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that you can think as according to the power that worketh in you. It's a
That's
power
right.
that's working on the inside of us, y'all.
That's right.
It's a power that's working on the inside of us. It is a power. And a lot of times with our trauma or things that we dealt with coming up, the enemy used that because the power is already in us. But what the enemy want to do, he want to stop you from possessing, you hear me, from possessing the power that is already in you, or either not so much as possessed from perceiving. If you can keep you from perceiving what you already got in you, then we don't know that we got it. So if you don't know that you got it, then how can you use it? Because he's blinding us by us thinking that we don't have it. He's just the influencer. But
That's right.
we have those principles and we have the power that is working on the inside of us. Always listen. It's like we have to learn how to. Oh, I wish I had something right here. How to, when you. Okay, so we had this pen. We have to learn how to detach from something that's old, that's affecting our ability to experience something new, y'all.
That's
And
right.
when I say detach, you got to detach from the pain of the past
And
and learn
reprogram
how
your
to repro redo it again and learn how to experience some freedom. Be free because without that detachment, how are you going to be able to change? How? We know that everybody got to be willing. But everybody has to be willing. If you don't, you can give anybody anything but a want to. No matter how bad I want you to do better in life, I want you to be a better father, better brother. If you don't want to, it ain't gonna work. I can give you all the pep talk, all the coaching, all the tools, all the resources, but if you don't want to, it ain't gonna work. You can give them anything but a want to. Anything but a want to. Anything. We gotta be
definitely.
willing, y'all. Willing to put out in this season. We gotta be willing just to put your differences aside for
And
greater
working
wins.
and learning how to work on them. If
Yes,
you're listening, that means that you're willing, and I will give credit to that. If you're listening to us, if you're hearing our voice and our passion, then
step one.
you must start working at it. And a lot of things of working at it is changing the narrative, changing the way you think about
Mm-hmm.
yourself, changing the way you look at your past situation. Like you say, detached from the negative and accepting and loving the new narrative. You know, we can
The
live in
new
the past
narrative.
stuck and stagnated, but you can work on changing
Mm-hmm.
that. We have the ability to reprogram our thinking.
Mm.
Getting up in the
Wait,
morning,
wait, wait, wait,
getting
wait,
up.
hold, press pause. Reverse. Say that one more time. We have the what?
We have the power to reprogram our thinking.
Mm. We got
Yeah,
the not your brother, but you got the ability. It's within you to change.
yeah. You have the power.
That's good,
You are
bro.
the one with the
That is
power
that's good.
over everything that you allow into your spirit, into your life. And it's gonna come out of your flesh if you don't handle it and deal with it
Hmm.
properly. All these issues, abandonment, denial, withdrawal, mood swings, anger, rage, internalizing, all these things you can change. A man of God is going to cover and lead his domain. So if you're
Mm.
operating from the past, if you're letting your leadership lead from past experiences with relationships, you dealt with a crazy man, you dealt with a crazy woman, you dealt with somebody that was attacking and just mean and ugly. You can't
Mm.
take that with you. Like my brother
Ooh.
said, you have to forgive because truly,
Hmm.
if with two people, it's always you have a part to play. Always look at the part you played and stop looking at the part the other person played. That's not your
Ah,
part. That's not your
you
position.
own it, sir.
Your job is to
Listen.
look at you. You keep looking at what somebody else did, and that's never going to help you improve and get to a better place in life.
Right.
Long as you're dwelling on somebody else actions and behavior, what do they have to do with you? What are you doing? What have you brought to the table? What did you take from the table? And
Mm.
then you can sit back and analyze your own behavior. This platform is looking at self, getting yourself in order. It's not about
Getting
bashing.
yourself in order.
It's not about bashing your kids. It's not about bashing your cousins and your mama or your daddy for what they did. It's not about that. It's about you looking at the errors that you made. They may have their own wrong. They may have their own spot in the chaos that occurred. But that's not your job to check them.
It's
Your
not.
job is
It's
to
not.
check self. And once you get yourself checked, that's where the forgiveness comes. Because at that point, you're
Mm.
forgiving yourself.
Woo! Forgiveness. What you helped me learn this week, bro, is that we as not only unks, there has to be a mature side of us. We got to grow
Yes,
up, y'all. We got to be
yes,
more mature. It takes maturity because the mature got to be the one that's willing to put our differences aside for the greater win. We can no longer focus more on what divides us than what we focus on that actually unifies us. We can't do that. It's unifying the nomadic community. That's who we
because
are.
because we're losing. We're losing. We got our women in CEO positions. They're in the corporate office. They're thriving, and a lot of it is because of our ego and our pride and our stubbornness. God gave them as a helpmate.
Hmm.
So that means as a
Hmm.
helpmate, sometimes you have to listen to your helpmate to progress. Some you got to understand, God speaks to us differently. He gave us a helpmate, and He's going to speak to her in a manner that can give us the knowledge that we're not able to receive because we're so caught up in everything that we might have on our plate. So being able to listen, if we distinguish that pride, we will be such a successful community and successful group of people because we're willing to take information from one another. A man can only lead if he's in a relationship or marriage. He can only lead properly if his vessel is feeding that knowledge. In the 5% nation, we call them our wisdom. Wisdom means they have the knowledge, the wisdom to give you information to help build who you are, who she sees. If your woman doesn't look at you in admiration, then it's something you're doing. When you're able to be seen as that vessel that can give life, that can breathe life, that means that I've already poured into her because of the work that I'm doing on me. So as I work on me and my love and commitment to bettering myself, that's her admiration to see a man that's not being settled with just who he is. He's changing the narrative and the character of what he's come from. I come
You
from
about to make you about to make me throw these headphones, sir. You about to make me throw them. I promise you. Because you said something just a minute ago and it had dropped in my spirit. Because one of the three takeaways that I can actually say from today, the first thing we gotta learn how to kill pride. You just said that.
yes,
Forgive.
yes,
Gotta learn how to forgive. And once you're able to kill pride and forgive, we got to learn how to reconciliation. Bring it
yes,
back.
yes, yes, yes,
Reconciliation, y'all. It's about bringing it back because that's what Christ did for us. He reconciled us. He reconciled us.
and it doesn't matter if the other person is not willing to receive it at that time. You still have to
Do
play
you?
your
Do
position.
your part. Yes, sir.
Mature, be responsible for your behavior and character. You can't feed into what they may feel because it's not. You don't determine how long it takes for somebody to get past it. Your job is to show them the example. As you call me the mirror, you have to be the mirror. You have to be what you want them to become. So if they see your your
Yes,
your
sir.
life, see you're changing, then ultimately they'll look at it and say, he's not upset no more. She's not upset no more. I'm the one sitting over here stuck in my mess.
In my mess. Listen, I want to end my part. I don't know if you have anything else to say after this. But as we're bringing to a close, bro, I believe we had a breakthrough today.
Yes, sir.
This today has really helped somebody. And if it didn't help nobody else, it helped me.
It helped
Transparent, it
me.
helped me. It helped me. It helped me. But my last words to the audience, y'all, continue to keep watching because we're gonna grow together. We're growing together in leaps and in bounds. Like, share this video on all your platforms to all your relatives, to all your people, because something that we're saying is gonna touch somebody's spirit and help somebody get into a greater space and place. But I want to leave you out with these last words right here. Don't fight the process. The event cannot be more powerful than the process because the event motivates you, but the process matures you. We growing, y'all. We are growing. We are growing. Bro, you
Before I
got
go,
anything else? Go ahead.
yes, before I go into my poem, I love Biggie, Biggie Smalls. That was our man. That music, that century, that era, and in his movie, he said something to Puppy. He said, "We can't change the world until we change ourselves." So that means become the example and become the change that you want to see. We all see chaos going on around us with our
Mm-hmm.
young men, with our women, with our young ladies. We see total chaos. If you want to change something, start with yourself. Be the example. Get out in the neighborhood, get out in the community, talk to people. I talk to people every single day. A brother told me the other day, he said, "Man, He said, whatever you're doing, you're glowing. He said, you know how a woman glows when she's pregnant? He said, I ain't trying to say like that. He said, but she's
but
glowing.
but
He said,
but you know
and
what?
this was a
But you
young
are
guy.
pregnant with purpose. Hey.
Yeah, yeah. This was a young brother too. This
Oh
and
wow.
he trusted in me with some information about his anger, him dealing with his
Mm-hmm.
communication. And he said, "Oh man," he said, you gave me so much." He said, "Thank you." Every time he sees me, I mean, this is the relationships that I've built with young men since I stepped foot in South Carolina. This is I've always loved ours. Newark, New Jersey, we come from. We might be in the top 10 of murder capitals, but I'm telling you, I have seen the love that we give out, we have for one another. We was brothers. We I'm still brothers. I go home, my brothers, they sometimes they shed a tear about some of the stuff I may have went through in my childhood. You know, they love me. They call me, man, I heard such and such. Man, you all right? If I need to come, I'm coming. You know, that type of brotherhood that I might not talk to them for months on end. But when we speak and connect, they always let me know, brother, I'm here. When you come in town, you got to see me. I don't care if it's for a minute, I need to see you. And that tells me that I have that ability to love and people to love me. This poem right
Right.
here is going to be about, you know, a man. You know, we this is our topic. This is the things that we're talking about and enlighten each other on. So this poem right here, this is one of my poems that's very close to my heart. This is one of the ones I wrote years ago, but it's very strong and powerful, and it's called "I Am a Man." All right, I am a man, as the blood of our ancestors settles in my soul, stolen from my tribe, stripped of my identity, my culture, and my language, resilient through the infliction of hatred upon my flesh. I am a man, the bronze mannerism and the charisma of a Mandingo warrior, beautifully designed, wonderfully with the dark, amazing nature to my casing. I am a man, God filled, formed by the underpinning spirit of structure and truth, a diamond before formed, enclosed from the weather and covered by the soil to prevent my shine. I am a man created from dirt, born in the streets of death, uniquely formed and framed for power with a voice of strength, amassed in poverty, addiction, intimidation, insecurities, molestation, at times confusing fear with frustration. I am a man as my skills are sharpened by the abrasive struggles of life through all the
Mm.
dysfunctional, delusional, and suicidal chatter that invades my thoughts. I am a man that walks with my head held high, never again allowing the poison within the system to influence the swagger of my walk, while allowing the king in me to speak through my voice. So if you still confused about who or what I am a black man of God that has been chosen to speak life. I am a man. That's it, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all, that thing was phenomenal. We do thank you all for tuning in, and to those of you out that need extra help, maybe you need help walking through this process, um, or achieving a desired result. And what we're telling you is it's opening up something in you to have a hunger to want more, but you just don't know exactly how to do that. Again, you can reach out to my brother, Jay, or you can reach out to me, the says, and we will take the time to coach and walk you through this process, and we will help you get down this path called life.
Yes, yes. That's what we're here for. We're supposed to be here to teach and love each other. That's what we're here for. We
Yes.
confuse all the things that we have been through with the fact that we're supposed to be selfish. We're not
Mm.
supposed to be selfish. We're supposed to be servants. And if you're not serving, you're getting served. And that's the wrong position.
What role? Now that's another inception right there. We ain't gonna talk about that right there, bro. But that's a
That's the
whole
job
nother
of life.
inception. Boop! Y'all, again, we thank you all for tuning in. My name is Grayson. This is my brother, my co-facilitator, my mirror, my accountability partner, Dr. Dunlap. As I so fearlessly call him. I'm just grateful, y'all. But we are going and we are growing together as a people, changing the world one mindset at a time.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cut.